So now we have it, a fully functioning 11-dimensional universe. There's 3 sets of 3, X, Y, and Z, wrapped and warped in size and time. So everything that exists within time and size. Now, we all know what time is, or so we think we have a pretty good grasp of it. But what is this size dimension I'm talking about? Well, the size dimension is a dimension I had to figure out to make my whole theory work. It's my flux capacitor, if you will. Now, here's the idea. When you get closer to an object, it appears to get bigger. So if we could think of a way to travel in a new dimension, it would have the same characteristic. So now imagine a dimension or a direction of travel so that we could travel closer to the electron, so that as we approach the electron, it would continue to get bigger. So big that by the time we got to rest on the surface of an electron, if it was possible, the electron itself would have grown to be the size of the Earth. And we would stand on the surface and look at all the protons around, and it would appear just like all the stars in the night. So the essence of my theory is that protons and electrons are the same thing as stars and planets. The only difference is the location and size and time. So stars and planets would be located up here, where the radius of that circle is the speed of light raised to some big number n. And down here, in this circle, the radius would be the speed of light raised to some large negative number n. So, as you can see, well, let's put a radius on this one too. I would say the radius of this middle circle here is just the speed of light. But what's the radius of this big circle? The entire thing. I believe the radius of the entire universe is 0 and infinity. Now how can something be infinite and 0 at the same time? Well, if something's infinite, there's nothing else to compare it to, so it might as well be 0. And likewise, if something is so small, so tiny, there's nothing else to compare it to as well, so it might as well be 0. So point A could be considered point 0, comma, infinity. Point Z would be considered point infinity, comma, 0. But you could also reverse the roles as well. So as we're going this way, point A starts off at 0, and Z winds up being infinity. But we could also look at A as infinity coming from this direction, where Z is 0. It comes around here to point infinity at A. Well, there's a lot more that needs to be worked out with this theory, and once it's formulated mathematically, we'll have a much better idea of what's really happening. I'm not saying everything I just showed you is set in stone. The actual arrangement of the vectors could be drawn differently. Instead of drawing the vectors here and here, I could have put those here and here. There's a lot of things I could do differently, but for now, I'm looking for someone to help me put it into mathematics. There's a lot more things I need to talk about, but a conversation would be worth 1,000,000 videos. I think I've made about 1,000 of these videos now, so I'm going to go ahead and end it for now. But like I said, questions, comments, concerns, direct them to JAYOWIN314159265 at AOL.com. Thanks for listening.